Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Orville yards,
I think it's
the
Dockyards.
dockyards.
There you go. I thought we'd reviewed 6 to 7 together, as in six or seven of the 10.
No, just the first three.
Just the first three. I'm not sure how that happened. We planned to do every couple, but that's okay.
Well, you didn't watch one. You got behind a little bit, and then I just didn't bother you about it. So then you were busy doing stuff. So
Fair enough.
it's all good.
Fair enough. But yes, now we've got a plethora of things to talk about. My goodness. I mean, normally we do one episode in 2 hours. Now we've got 6 episodes in 2 hours.
Well, as I told you earlier, and as I've mentioned, when I do the first reactions, after like half an hour, I'm like out of things to say because it's just like it's good. This happened. This happened. This happened. This one thing was a bit of a problem. Whatever. There's not much to talk about. So don't know why that is, but
Yeah. Is that because of lack of content in the episodes? Given they're now either fully feature length, like mini feature, like 10 minutes out of 1 minute 30 or 1 hour 30, or barely, barely missing it. Are you saying they're less full? There's less to talk about, even though they're now half longer?
we don't have 50 years of the Orville to talk about and compare it to. The other thing. I don't know. I don't know why it is. It just when it's something's really good, it's like, hey, that was really good. You know. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about.
I was going to say.
Want you guys. That's why you guys to put in your 2 cents.
And there is a poll.
There is a poll. In my pants. Oh look.
So what's the poll?
The poll is, which has been your favorite season? Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3? It was funny because we had 3 votes before we started, and each one was at 33%.
Yeah. Do you have an answer to that question yourself?
Just going on gut instinct, I'd say Season 3. But it's just because it's the one freshest in my mind. I haven't gone back to revisit Seasons 1 and 2 yet, so that's... I remember a lot of good stuff from Season 1 and Season 2, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say. How about you?
Yeah, my gut says Season 1 because it had a better balance for me. I remember a couple of stories were like truly stand out. This benefits from a lot of great ideas, but they're also much longer episodes. They're able to throw more things in theory. I think a couple of stuff in this season are extremely well developed, but I liked the stories in general in Season 1 better. But it also, they had more to prove, so they had to like throw their best forward first, because everything's being set up. Season 3, they can do whatever they feel like, and you know what I mean, they don't need another season. They've had 3. Like, that's a great run for any TV show, you know what I mean? Whereas first season they had to like hit the ground running, and they really did. Yeah
Good answer. And going back and kind of refreshing my memory on a lot of these episodes, there's still a lot of the good Seth MacFarlane humor in them. It's just more sparingly used, but it's so appropriate. Even just people reacting to something and say, that's bullshit.
yeah
It's something you never hear in Star Trek, but it's its own unique vibe, right? So
I mean, it's certainly only maybe 1 or 2 laughs in any episode now. They're very humor light. I would say it's not a comedy in any way now. Besides, like I say, those 1 or 2 jokes, and you can still have those in Star Trek. I mean, Stargate's funnier. Even Stargate Universe might be funnier. Not to say it's a negative, just they're not funny episodes anymore. They've lost that for sure. Hardcore sciencey stuff over comedy. But yeah, I will start sharing.
right.
And hopefully you guys will give us those likes, and super chats, and super thanks, and super comments, which is a new thing I'm inventing, where you just comment saying super! Super comment. Say nothing. See you in a second.
So guys, we have 27 of you here, and we have 18 likes. So hit that like button. Now is the time. Please put in your 2 cents with the super chats if you're able to. Really be appreciated, because we want to hear from you guys. We want to discuss what you guys want to discuss. We're going to kind of breeze through a lot of these, touch on things, and then we might have to go back and revisit some things if you guys bring them up, which is fine. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about here, so should be a fun live, I think. Don't forget to check out the links to Teespring and TeePublic store down below. A lot of cool merch, Trekyards merch down there. And yeah, hopefully you guys will check that stuff out. There's some cool stuff, gotta say. And there's a sale coming up soon on TeePublic. So if you guys go to the TeePublic store and see some stuff you like, throw it in your cart and then go back once the sale starts, which I think is Saturday, actually. And then you can pick it up then. I think it's 40% off, so pretty good deals. Most importantly, make sure you're subscribed, because YouTube unsubscribes people randomly. So check your status to make sure you're subscribed. Click the notification bell icon to all, and don't forget to hit that like button. Dun dun dun. Matt Boardman. Ooh.
Matt Boom.
$5. Das sandwich. Yes, I'm glad they remembered the sandwich.
That was
such an
heartwarming.
appropriate
That was.
time too.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, that was great. Ray Ricks, £5. Thank you. Nothing much to say. That's why it's short. They have knocked it out of the park. They have progressed.
Oh.
About him.
Sorry, Stuart. Start that again. Thing died.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, they do it very well. They do it so streamlined, and everything just happens so naturally. It doesn't feel forced. It's good dialogue. It's good writing. So, yeah, it's very realistic, very human.
Yeah, they feel more like people than most shows. Better and for worse. So, episode 4, starting where we went. Obviously, you've first reviewed them all. You've talked to the fan base. You know what everyone here thinks. I've watched a little bit of each of those, but I'd rather talk to you about them live. Yeah. Episode 4. What happened in episode 4, Stuart?
Gently Falling Rain was my least favorite of this entire season.
Ooh. Okay.
This is where they take. Well, you get Bruce Boxleiter as the president of the union.
Brucey.
And I didn't like his alien look. Then I saw a picture. They compared it to Abraham Lincoln. They tried to make him look like Abe Lincoln, and it's like, all right, that makes sense now. Cool.
Yeah.
Where they go to the planet, the Krill planet, and the lady, the Krill lady.
Talea.
Yeah.
I looked.
Yeah. She's in charge now, quite savagely in charge.
Well, she doesn't do a coup. She actually wins via democracy, and then murders the person who she beats. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those. I didn't like Krill democracy.
Political. Yeah, it was too political. It was too. I thought they were going to be stranded on the planet for more than one episode, because I have PTSD from Picard, where everything drags on and on and on and on. Like when they were escaping via the shuttle at the end, I'm like, they're going to crash and they're going to have to hide in like the suburbs or something, and they're going to get found out. And I just had PTSD. But I love the way that
it's not just that, Stu, but the fact they built so much wonderful CG implies more than one episode use. Like the way they used it was just, oh yeah, we built a full city. And it's like, for one frick. Wow. Hell.
And we get, of course, introduced to Ed Mercer's daughter, that he had with the Krill lady, and I just found myself being like, I don't care. I don't. It's not important. You haven't been a part of her life. Just why is this a thing? But hey, it is what it is. They're gonna. I was surprised they didn't go back to that at some point in the rest of the season.
Well, they tried to at the end.
They did mention her once.
Yeah.
When he's like keeping records and logs for her that she might be interested later. Fine, but.
Yes, they didn't close since they knew season 4 would be a very, very, very unknown thing. I'm sure season 3 is overspent by like probably twice the budget it was meant to be. I wouldn't expect anything less. Getting another season, they have such a who the hell knows? So leaving such a big story thread without resolving it was a hell of a choice.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just this was my least favorite just because of the political stuff and the Ed's daughter. I didn't really care.
That would be an
like,
issue.
Yeah, this was my least favorite of them. And I'm like, they're gonna harp on this Krill thing for the rest of the season.
Nope.
I don't want that.
Nope.
And it wasn't. It was very nicely balanced. So, what were your thoughts when you saw it, though?
And I'm re-scrolling because that does help. I don't have all of them, but I have some of them.
Yeah,
I mean, this one is I like it. The political stuff is very heavy-handed, and it's so unsubtle that it hurts the episode in general for me. But at the same time, because it's still fictional, I can just enjoy it for what it is. And it's really interesting to see this as a perspective, to see Talea, who was this very interesting character, sort of be reduced, honestly, just to a political Hitlery figure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's a bit dull for me personally. Like, there's so much you could have done with that character. Oh, is that it? That said, I like the setup and the shots of the city, the amount of Krill makeup they had was astounding. Super, super, super high-end, super, super nice. The fact that, like I say, she wins via true democracy is a very nice twist, because it isn't a twist. Like, she wins fair and square through argument, and like, that's it happened, and then she murdered the guy. But that might be what they do, who knows? And clearly even the guy, you know, the original politician man, he does say, well, let's do, I refuse to give over, there must have been a problem, must do a recount. So both people are playing Trump, which is interesting. Both politicians are, like, that's super interesting they play that card, because everyone's wrong is an interesting vibe. They clearly, he wasn't a good leader either, which is interesting. I love the fact they just have a million ways to die in the West costumes brought out of storage for Seth to wear. Was a fun little, I mean, it's a scene that means nothing. I wish there was, like, in the original Orville, that scene would have had more jokes and been more fun, but in this it just feels like window dressing that you would edit out in a normal episode TV, because these episodes they're oddly framed, they're long, but they're long episodes, they're not movies, so they feel like stretched episodes where the content is getting a little bit razor thin, versus a movie where it's kind of paced to have a specific tone. Like, these scenes could be more dense with reason versus that's nice, but you're not ever going to think of this scene in the tavern from watching now ever again, because it was meaningless in the grand scheme, except it was kind of cool. I would have had a bit more fun.
You mentioned the longer episodes there, and I just wanted to say that they didn't feel longer. Like, watching them, it didn't feel like it was an hour and 20 minutes. It didn't feel like, when is this going to end, you know? So I think they did that very well, that balance.
Yeah, certain scenes are definitely too long. Like, they would cut that in any other format, but then most times, like, there's still 30 minutes to go. Holy shit! Where are we going? Because it could go anywhere. There's several episodes where they literally change the entire plot halfway through. It's like, oh hell! Yeah. Well, that's okay. Hell.
And Ryan K says, "Here's a note. Next time, don't bring your president." Yeah, no shit. And that's the other issue I have. The Orville started out being a not important ship. That's what Seth wanted.
Yes.
Whatever. Now it's like the foremost, most important ship ever. It goes on this diplomatic mission with the president and some admirals on board. No backup, no, like, 2 other escort ships or anything.
Yeah.
It just seems silly to the point of, this is like now the flagship, the most important ship ever.
And not just that, it's the one that goes back in time. It's the one that does the Kalon weapon. It's the one that does... Yeah, no, I that is a good point. They should have been the only ship in the system to the president.
Yeah. Yeah. The time thing, being on the ship, fine, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Kalon weapon thing also, well, I thought the same thing, and I'm like, well, Isaac's on board, though. And it's...
Yeah. But it gets excessive,
that, so.
Like you say, you kind of notice it more when you have this many.
Brian Donaldson, member for 5 months at the rank of Admiral. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Admiral, sir. Isaac and Dr. Finn's arc was my personal favorite of the season. And of the entire series as a whole. I cried and laughed and felt it's stronger than anyone or anything else. Anything else. Yeah, I think it was very well done.
It's the main arc of the show.
We talk about Isaac and Claire.
Really, I mean, it is the main thing the show is trying to do. If you look at amount of screen time per storyline, like all of the first episode, most of the 5th episode, and most of the end episode, like it got easily 2.5 hours worth of screen time this season. Hey, it was good. I love Isaac. Yeah. So yes, I'm nicely done. What an end. What an end scene. One little segment.
Yeah.
Not what you thought would go again. I said to because I watched the last one with Dad. I thought it'd be a nice thing to do, and I said, if we had a betting game at the start of the episode, the final episode, and someone said, "Oh, I bet you're gonna get married," no one would have taken that bet. You know, that no one could have predicted. It's so out of left field that it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. ISFJ 1009, $5. Thank you so much. And they had Tron Sheridan on several episodes. Yes.
Not enough, but yeah, in it some.
Yeah.
But I was excited by this episode a massive amount, especially the first half, because the idea of making friends with the Krill, seeing more of the society, that to me was super interesting, because they've always been interesting. And my favourite ones from early in Skype signal, there it is. Yeah, one of my favourite ones from early in the season, as in the franchise, was going onto the Krill ship and investigating their culture. Like, that was easily one of my favourite ones of the entire show, because it was done so well. It was funny, it was silly, it was entertaining. This I thought was going to be a good sequel to that. It ends up being far more Trumpian, politically forced than it had to be, but at least it kind of diversifies. Like, the daughter was a hell of a curveball, etc. But it's like, this is like, Krill was really interesting to me as a concept, so I was happy to see it. But it all kind of devolves just to Ed and Lady at a certain point. Like, the budget is spent in the first half, and then most of the rest of it is just in small quarters talking between two people. Like, those scenes are very long and very cheap. You can kind of see where the budget stretches out a bit. Wasn't quite as full as I'd hoped.
And Species 1571 says, I hate when shows beat you over the head with sexuality or gender politics, but this felt much more organic than when they do it in Trek. I disagree 100%. I think this was very in your face. This is the thing we're talking about. And I assume people would have more of an issue with the way Orville presents things than the way Star Trek has in TNG or whatever.
Well, it's different for each topic, though.
It is, yes. Yes. This is very much like, we got to make this point, boom, and they hit it home really hard in the episode.
Well, yeah.
Star Trek maybe kind of candy glazes it a little bit more, at least they used to, because that was the time that was made in. But yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree with you on that one.
The thing I say about that, the thing I say about that is that whereas the Star Trek Picard season 2 message about modern day, all modern day stuff, there's literally a scene where Seven and Raffi just stop and complain about the fires. Like, that's not allegory, that's complaining about the modern day, or Guinan saying about racism. Like, that's not a well done version. Those are really poorly done, and they will not stand up well in years gone by, except being a, wow, those weren't subtle. Orville does them all better by an absolute levels above, but certainly when they go full in on a topic, you're like, oh, that's a politics episode, and it's not subtle in what it's trying to say. It's just it stays straight with the universe. So, you know, like, it's not like if the Krill lady had, you know, ginger hair that looked terrible, it's like, oh, that's Trump. Like, it's still its own thing, even though it's clearly doing a thing. So it's better, and I definitely, boy, better than Picard season 2, this season.
Yes.
I mean, pandemic filmed. Phew. I'm sure Picard had a bigger budget, maybe. I feel like it probably did. I mean, Patrick probably got paid more than almost the entire cast of Orville put together. Yeah. Very. Yeah, sledgehammer. Oh, Stuart. Yeah, Thomas, for sure. And yeah, mate, we'll get to the Isaac scene later. So why don't you like why don't you care for the daughter reveal? Because it's quite a humongous plot twist. I mean, a Krill human hybrid, the idea of these friendly Krill, the idea of, you know, him having a bond with the lady for all time, him having a daughter out of wedlock, as in, you know, maybe being with Kelly, maybe her being... why was that not interesting? Because that's a pretty big twist that came out of absolutely nowhere. It was entirely random.
Yeah. Well, it suffered from the soap opera thing of the kid's already like fucking 11.
Yes,
or 8 or whatever. It's like, that's ridiculous. Maybe the Krill age differently, sure, but I didn't care. It didn't tug at my heartstrings. It didn't do anything. It was just like, oh well, that sucks. Why do you care? Chakotay Cisco thing, Chakotay Seska thing with the kid. I just didn't care. you know.
Well,
So
that's certainly an interesting
I don't know.
parallel.
It's a
Yeah, it's definitely closer to that.
yeah.
Well, it's because if it had been set up at any point earlier in the show, or paid off at any point in the show, like if he'd rescued her and had her on the ship, kind of like Alexander, and it could have played into the Topa storyline a lot. You've got another kid. Maybe that kid says, I want to look more human to be like my father who actually loves me. You could have a dual, like, okay, it would have been a heavy kid storyline inside the show. But that, you know, I think the fact that it's dropped so hard on its, like, we'll deal with you later, that maybe makes it feel less meaningful because it's not giving it, it's like that in itself should be enough for entire half season. Like, that's a huge possible plot thing for a main character. Although does Ed feel like such a side character make it feel less important as well? If Ed was more like Picard or Kirk or Cisco or Janeway or Scott Bakula or Burnham, like a main character, because he's really not the main character in any way in this show. It's an ensemble to the point of no one has a focus except Isaac, I guess, and Isaac and Claire. Those are the main characters, really.
Would it have made a difference if it was those characters? I don't think so.
No, I mean if Ed was actually the main character. Rather than one of the side characters, would that have been more impressive? Like if it was Picard having a son and Kirk having a son, but because Ed is sort of a side character in his own show.
Probably not. I don't think it would have mattered to me because it's just, I think it's a cheap dramatic thing to throw in. Like, oh yeah, you have a kid that you didn't know about. Ooh, it's like I would be like, okay, that's cool. Peace out. I wouldn't go meet her. Like I think it's almost cruel to be like, hey, I'm your dad. I'm never gonna see you. How you doing? Bye.
Yeah, I was surprised that we didn't get a moment when they were together saying, "Oh, you look weird," because he's pink, pinky white. Like no one's pinky white. You know, why do you like me?
She kind of had his skin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I say, why are you pinky white? Oh wait, are we related?
Yeah.
You know, like there should have been some sort of. She was very oblivious in the scene. It was kind of odd. There was clearly we don't want to go too in depth with this, so let's not go in depth with it vibe.
Yeah,
I just found it an interesting concept because I like the Talea character a lot. Although, like I say, they simplified her massively in the episode. Yeah. What do you guys think? Did you like that he has a daughter alien comment?
Yeah, well, let us know about just episode 4, Gently Falling Rain. What do you think about that episode? Did you like it or not? I think it was the most serious out of all the episodes this season.
Probably except the one where people get converted into beings, because that's just like a lot of death stuff. But probably. I mean, the fact that the main politician gets assassinated like straight out, it's quite a fun thing.
So let us know in the chat right now whether you liked it or not. This episode number 4, Gently Falling Rain, and ad break. And we're back, yay!
But I will comment again. The CG in this one was fantastic. The city looked beautiful, very well realized. The flying through was beautiful. Really, really, really nice. Really, really, really nice. That city was, God, I wouldn't even want to, see the assembly for that. It was very ambitious and well done, and even felt Krillian. No, I thought that was super well done. I really hope we see Krill again because they put a lot of effort into that city model.
Yeah, sorry about the internet signal. It should clear up soon, hopefully.
What do you guys think?
I mean, like I said, I said this at the time too. This was my least favorite up to this point, and now watching the whole season, this is my least favorite of the season easily. So
cool. Well, let us know what you guys think. Then we move on to episode 5, as we still remember which ones are which.
Episode 5 is A Tale of Two Topas.
Ah, yes. The culmination of a season 1 and season 2 story arc, which this was a weird one because it started off with this amazing archaeological sequence, which implies that's the storyline, and they drop it entirely. But it's such a lot of money being spent to build these sets that are entirely meaningless. Why? I don't know if their aim was to try and trick you as they went. Because it's expensive to make this stuff, and they just do really elaborate, mildly elaborate set stuff. I don't know if you thought that was the story going in, because it wasn't.
Well, what I thought was going to happen with this one, because of the archaeological dig, and they found the artifacts and stuff, which some Batman gauntlets, by the way. But anyway, with all the with all the archaeological stuff they found, I assumed that there was going to be a typical Stargate kind of episode where somebody switches bodies or they duplicate somebody. Or I thought there was going to be something like that going on. That was never explored. Like the archaeological story was literally a sideline story, and it never came into the big picture. And I thought it might at one point. I thought even there might be some artifact that Topa would touch and it would instantly like change her, or something like that. I don't know. I liked that kind of subversion of expectations.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a great way to. There's some problems with this one at the end. I love that Isaac did it and the reasons he did it, the reasons that he could do it, but the fact that
we'll set the story a little more because that's jumping some sort of soul scrolling. We jumped straight from the start. So the story is
there's
about.
There's nothing else to talk about. It's the whole dilemma of she wants to change her gender, we can't do it without Claire quitting or whatever.
Yes. Or entire galactic war with the Mocklans. The weapons makers, the only people who are keeping us safe, really. Fight the entire culture.
Yeah, and then so Claire said she'll resign, she'll do it.
Borta sings.
Here's the thing. We get to the end. Okay. And it's like, okay, none of the Orville crew can know about it. Isaac can do it on his own. Nobody can know about it. So we do this whole elaborate thing. Clyden wasn't there. Clyden actually comes into the sickbay when it's being done.
His little fight with Isaac almost.
Clyden, what he should have done was ran down to the shuttle bay and announced there's an unauthorized procedure happening. And then guess what? Everyone in that room is now
accomplices. Yeah.
They have to stop it. Otherwise, they're accomplices, right? The fact he didn't do that bothers me because it seems like something Clyden would do. So that was a little bit of a hiccup in the plan. Sure, the plan was fantastic, but Clyden should have been in the front row because later in the season we see him like, yay, anything that Bortus does.
Yeah.
So if he was there, it would have made more sense. But then it would have been, where is Topa? Topa should be right beside him, or if he had noticed that that Topa wasn't there, like near the end of the concert, and looked around and then left, and then kind of caught it as everything was ending, that would have made more sense to me. But
they don't say how long the procedure takes. The fact that Clyden leaves the room and then it's over. It's like, well, does it take 5 minutes? Does he give up? I mean, this is the entire moral lifestyle of this child who you have personal experience with. I mean, gives up at a certain point. I know you can't fight Isaac, but you would think he'd bring a weapon and try and shoot Isaac. I mean, Isaac can be stunned.
Yeah.
But whereas if it takes 5 minutes, it would have been kind of interesting if Topa was in the concert, like everyone genuinely is surprised, and then Topa says, "I need the bathroom." Isaac's waiting, say, "Come with me." It'll take 5 minutes. You could have had literally take place during one song. And the song's about finding yourself, and then by the end of then he sits back down as the girl. It's like, Topa? That was the bathroom? What are the Oh yes, the toilet was on gender change mode. It's like, what? I don't know. I didn't consider that.
Yeah. So there were problems with this one as well, but overall it was a great story, and I love the way it all kind of played out, and it's such a eloquent solution with Isaac doing it. But there are some plot holy things right at the end that really just kind of took me out of it, because my brain's thinking, what would I do in this situation? And it's like, there's so many ways to make it known that there's something happening that...
Well, also, they should have got punished. I mean, they did do the wrong in all of the sense except morally, but again, that's it's debatable. So they should have got... they should have been, not demoted, but sent to do like crap assignments for a year. And that could be a plot point. Because to get away with it,
Yeah. They got chewed out by the Admiral.
It was a good scene.
And you guys are going to be examined very closely. You're on thin ice right now, and blah, blah, blah. She got reamed them out, and then as she's leaving, she's like, tell Topa I give her my best. Because she agreed with the decision, but she's an Admiral, so she couldn't. So I thought that was played very well.
I just wish they'd been punished slightly for it, because it's still going against all of the orders and all the rules and... But again, I think they also knew the Mocklans were going to leave the Union, so at that point, it doesn't matter if we fuck around with them, because they're leaving, who cares? Like, narratively wise, we don't have to try and keep the sense of them being friends. They get pushed and pushed further towards enemies every episode, so it's like, if anything, we're just going to go further. Although, I was kind of surprised because then we get a sense later on, out of absolutely nowhere, that Bortus and Kelly fancy each other. And it is not even 5%. This has been the episode to set it up. Have a moment.
Yeah.
Like, the Kelly and Toba mum-daughter thing, or sisters, great. Fine, great stuff. But there's zero, not even 1% hint Bortus and her anything. So when that comes out blue, you don't feel anything for it, and then it's ignored straight away. So complete non-story that kind of hurts that episode. So this would have been the one where maybe she goes to Bortus's room at the end and puts her arm around him and says, "It's okay, I'll be here for you." Like something nice. But you're gonna know, how much they actually planned the season, how much they swapped it. This season doesn't feel in general like they've swapped everything around, but this one certainly is kind of a, well, we want to do this story now. Let's change things so it happens now. Because I know they rewrote stuff, things that might be one season, etc.
Yeah.
But at least Kelly got lines, because Kelly is massively underused this season. I mean, most of the characters are, but Kelly gets to do something in this episode. Something.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Kelly this season actually was quite good.
She's either not used at all or used lots. There's zero in between. She has no role except massive story or none.
Yeah. This season, I think, did a better job of that, though.
First season, everyone got used better, I think. In general, everyone got a bit more of a balance. Now, another thing, they brought back the... they put themselves in old footage, and it's the same angles, they even showed it, but they did also rehire the lady for a later episode, and they showed it, they did both use real old footage and film new footage, and they did get it back in makeup, but also use old... It's a whole complicated thing.
The courtroom scene, yeah.
It was new and old and all the things. Very, very well done green screen. I mean, that was a hell of an achievement, because some of it was just really practical again. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Jim says, I think the Admiral didn't punish them because technically they didn't violate the order. True. That is true. And I think just the reaming out was enough of we know what you did. We're not stupid. But we kind of agree with the situation. Yeah, it was one of those situations. Officially, she had to do that. And, yeah. But
you are rewarding them for breaking rules.
Kinda.
Like, the point is, if they can do that, they'll do it again and again and again and again. Make entirely war-generating decisions that affect galactic relations. That's fine. I'll just yell at you. And no one's going to yell at you outside this room, except in a record that no one's going to read. Like, it's so self-defeating the chain of command if you don't punish them. Like, just have the non-punishment of, okay, you're going to spend the next 2 months doing a crap assignment. That's punishment. That's the technical punishment. Because, yeah.
And Jasper Jedi said, I heard a complaint that actually Ed Mercer was underutilized. I think he was, especially in the beginning, the first few episodes. I even made that comment for episode 3, the morality paradox, where he didn't even look like he wanted to be there. So, like he didn't have a captainy presence when they were doing the thing. He was just kind of like walking around. I think the rest of the season episodes made up for it, though.
Well, I
really do like Seth.
I got the impression that he had his fill of being the fun captain in season 1. Now he wants to be the executive producer and write the stories and just be in them because he can. He isn't doing enough with his character to justify him being in it. Where someone else could be... Like, honestly, make Kelly captain. Give her the captain role, have her be more important, take Ed out, have him be Admiral, comes in occasionally. He's not helping the show by being in it still, because you're not doing anything for Kelly, you're not doing anything for him. Like, there's too many characters, you don't give enough to most of them. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Kind of like Jack O'Neill in season 8, but intentionally. Like, especially as he killed Ted Danson, so have Ed be it. Even if he comes on every 3rd episode for like a special mission, have Kelly be captain. Be a phenomenal captain, I think. Really good captain.
Well, like in this last episode, this last episode, he actually, the one girl wants to go back to her planet, and Ed says to her, if you were making this decision, what would you do? It's like he's encouraging that captaincy vibe from her, like, I'm the captain, yes, but what would you do in this situation? I love that little tip there. So.
Well, it makes sense. It really does. If he wants to have more fun just being the creative, which I think he does, it makes sense.
Yeah. Christian Montgomery, $2. Kelly for captain and Ed for admiral if season 4 happens.
Well, there you go.
I think mid-season it'd be good if you got a promotion or something. That'd be great.
Tim Allen, yes, good choice. But guys, vote in the poll, and we're super light on Super Chat, so Super Chat for Super Lights. We can do this as a let's see if fans will support, and currently no, you're not. So no, we can't not do another one because there's no more episodes currently. So, but hey ho, we'll try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this one fine. It's a bit one note because it is one note. I wish there was a bit more ensemble cast. I wish there was a bit more other stories. I wish there was a bit more depth to other things. It's very much we have one allegory we're going to tell to its entirety, and they do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. It's elevator pitchable without really anything beyond that. You know what I mean? It is what it says in the tin, and there's really nothing else to it.
Yep. More so, I think, for the next episode. Episode 6, Twice in a Lifetime. This is when with the time machine or the time device, we get the sandwich first appearance, and then the accident happens where Gordon gets thrown back in time, and they overshoot when they go to rescue him. They overshoot by 10 years, so he's been there 10 years, and he's got a family, and and they basically do the right thing, get enough of the mineral that they need for the time device to push them at least 10 years where they were supposed to be when he first arrived, and then rescue him then so that none of this happens, because he actually breaks the law, the temporal laws. I forget what they called it, but this was a really great episode for a lot of reasons. And the only real issue I have with it is when Ed basically said to him in his living room with his family there, with his wife and kids there, that we're going to go back 10 years and so this never happened, have this really grieving moment for them. I just would have done it. I wouldn't have told him. Let him have his happiness until it's never happened, you know?
If you don't have to cause pain, don't cause pain.
Yeah. And then when they get back to the ship, I'm like, are they going to even tell him that happened? Sure enough, they tell him, and I love that he just agrees with them. He's like, I can't believe I did that. But he wasn't living the situation. Yeah, you live like a couple years, you no chance of getting back. You might do the same thing.
Well, did he tell them that he was married to her? Because I don't remember that being it. And had a child. Because I remember him saying,
yeah,
you want to... Okay.
They told him everything. And he's like, yeah, but that wasn't fair. That wasn't right. I don't know why I did that. So thank you guys. And it's true. And people are like, why didn't they bring the wife and the kid back to the future with them? It's like, well, that would have affected people that they knew, first of all. But also, if you remember the first episode where she was in, turns out she married a guy named Greg, and they had a kid together.
Bloody Greg.
So, and that's the timeline. That's the thing that led up to where they are now. So that still has to happen. So it wasn't an easy answer, but I loved how well it went together. It was such a good episode as far as the implications of time travel and just the moral dilemmas of it. But there was no easy answer. The whole time I was thinking, yeah, just take her and the kid to the future. You know, a few people will miss them and go reported missing, whatever. But when you think about it, there's a lot more at stake than that. And Ed did nothing wrong. Ed did exactly what he was supposed to do as a captain. And I have a lot of respect for the character because of that episode. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think this one probably my favorite premise, but it wasn't. They didn't use the humor of being lost in the past at all.
No, they didn't.
And you know, I'm scrolling through again, and from
except for his Orville license plate.
Sure, but that's like the least effort possible for a joke. So as soon as they land, all they do is they go to find him, say hi, drive to his house, meet his wife, chat, and even the bar stuff's not very funny. It almost feels like pandemic cheap, but also it's so well shot and lit. Like, it looks beautiful. I'm scrolling. It's really gorgeously shot. It looks like a feature film, but they didn't take any advantage of it. They went full dark. But they could have had so much fun getting up to that point, and they don't do any of that. And it's just like, well, this is their one chance, because time travel wasn't really a thing in the Orville universe. So I thought it was a huge missed opportunity. The dilemma stuff was superb, and boy, Gordon's acting, hell, that man was acting his heart out, and he felt older. I don't know if they put like some makeup on him, because he did look, because he felt, I mean, the grey as well, but he felt different. I love that, and you know, the story of being, I stayed in the cabin for like 5 years. I hunted animals, even though we haven't eaten real animals for my entire life. Like felt genuine heart, you know, good for him for 3 years alone. That's gotta be.
Yeah.
Like, you really felt for him, and that he got his perfect girl, which I'm glad was set up, and that was satisfying, and I'm glad she was in it. And the really heart-wrenching, beautiful stuff. But again, that without the funny, without the clever, it's just that thing, and everything else you're going to forget. Are you going to remember the biker stuff? No, it wasn't. It was just Terminator, but played straight. Again, it wasn't.
Yeah.
There was so little of interest except the meat, but it was like there's one juicy little steak, but everything else is somewhat forgettable or uninteresting.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you have so much possibility here. Star Trek for it. Come on.
I love that they teamed Charlie up with Isaac, with her hatred of the Kalons and stuff. That
Human
worked out
Isaac.
really well.
Way more human Isaac this season. It's good.
But again, I had PTSD again when they're in the basement of that house drilling for the thing. Like, something is going to go wrong, or somebody's going to come downstairs and they're going to get interrupted.
Nope.
No, it went off without a hitch.
He
I
just
love when
apologizes.
things go off without a hitch, and that never happens in modern shows. There's always got to be 15 problems you got to overcome, and that whole drilling to get the thing would have taken 4 episodes in Picard. You know what I mean? Like, it annoys me so much because Picard could have been so much better, but I have Picard PTSD. Things dragged on for episodes when it's a simple goddamn solution. You know?
Yeah, and how cool is it they actually did burn into the planet's core or whatever. Like, that was and
then fixed it.
Yeah, like a fun idea. And for him to apologise, a lot of nice depth there, and they certainly went from, we're going to make her a hardcore racist at the start, speciesist, and then every episode kind of pushed down a bit and you know, benefits from that for sure.
We got some super chats. So Ray Ricks throws in £5, so thank you so much. This episode was great. Seeing the realization and pain on Gordon's face was gut-wrenching. Yes, the acting was superb in this one. Scott Grimes did an amazing job.
He was the MVP, without a doubt.
Yeah. Even Ed was.
Yeah.
The whole scene of they're having lunch together and talking about the Red Sox, and it's like, socks. Yeah, socks are good. Socks are good.
Yep.
Cold feet. Like, that was a very good, well done scene. And the look on Ed's face, just he was so pissed at what Gordon had done, and it was all acted so well.
Well, he took it as a betrayal.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't possibly relate to what he experienced. 10 years. Are you joking? Yeah. Great.
ISFJ 1009, $10. Amazing, thank you. This episode was gut-wrenching for me, especially for Gordon and Ed and Kelly. And at the end, how Gordon agrees with their decision because he lacks the emotional connection with his family. Yes, 100%, 100%. I'm glad it played out the way it did. I was wondering if we were going to tell him what they did.
I thought they weren't. I was shocked they did.
I would be afraid to tell them, but I'm glad they did, and I'm glad it was met with,
mature as
you
hell.
did exactly what you should have done. I don't know why I did that, even though I didn't do that.
But also, it's a double meta narrative of the idea of time travel, that if you don't know the people you're affecting, screw them, the rules are important. But you're affecting people's lives, and you're literally killing people, unaliving people. There are babies that were unmade because of that, but if you don't know them, it doesn't matter. I don't know if it's telling us a lesson, but it,
And the other great thing about it is, they got enough of the mineral that they needed for the time device to go 10 years, but they didn't have enough to get back. So just turn off the effects of the quantum drive that keeps them
stable,
safe from the effects of time or of light speed, and just go to light speed long enough, you move 400 years in the future. That's amazing. It was such an elegant, great solution to the time travel thing. I loved it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, that was one of those Orville's I've never seen that before moments.
Yes, it was really great. Well, you got to think, back on Earth of the past or Planet of the past, they see this thing like do its thing. It's the Orville just leveling it. Casual Trekker, $5. Why didn't they immediately blow up their ship in the other time travel episode after the woman saved them, if the law is the law? Why didn't they blow up their ship in the other time travel
that's episode? With the Charlize Theron person. Because they were trying to fix it?
Yeah. I'd have to go back and watch that episode. I don't remember much about it.
That was like 4 years ago. 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
No, this was
a great one. A great moral quandary. This is like a Duvix kind of episode. So, #Ed did nothing wrong.
But also kind of the way the way they went to Earth and the beautiful way they shot it kind of felt like a movie. I think a bit more. Kind of had that, if they're doing a movie, this would be a fun concept for a movie. Well, a sad concept, but a good sad concept.
Mm-hmm. Although I think it does work better in a series where you actually know the characters quite a bit.
But I mean, if this had been Orville's fourth season movie one, as actually like a cinema movie, this could have been a beautiful this is a good story for a movie with those extra little oomph. It was pretty close to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one gave us a lot to talk about with the moral quandary. I remember that, and it was it's not an easy decision, no matter what way you go. But the law is the law for a reason.
Yeah,
and it made perfect sense.
Which they go on with Kelly in the last episode as well. The idea of that yes, it might suck for many things, but there are so many reasons for the law that you can't appreciate because you are the case studies where it goes wrong are the reasons. Laws aren't arbitrary most of the time.
Yeah. Well, the last episode of the Orville was the best description of Prime Directive ever. Even though it wasn't the Prime Directive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The best case for the Prime Directive. Mark Lawrence throws in a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Mark. You're saving the day here. Here's hoping we get more seasons. Messaging you from a kinder class while I'm waiting for drivers to download.
I take it as a new car. Cool. Yeah, I mean they say earned a season 4. Season 4 is in need. So let me summarise the next one then, Stuart, because this is episode 7, which was called what?
From Unknown Graves.
Yeah, so this is my favourite of the season, because this deals with the origins of the... What are they called?
The Kalon.
Kalon, yeah. Not the Kazon, the Kalon. So this is super clever, and I forgot to mention the last episode, they sort of randomly introduced the security officer making out with the engineer, which is a bit random, but also I can see the pairing. So I was like, oh, cool. And it gave him something to do in the season, because again, I mean, you can tell that Lamar's like, oh, I have three lines this episode, 4 next episode. I'm getting paid this much, say 3 lines. Holy shit. So good. Give him a storyline.
How can we make me not like LaForge? I'm the engineer, and I'm
yes.
Like, oh, let's have somebody that I can relationship.
Yes, he did have sex more than LaForge in 8 years in 2 episodes. That is fair. So that storyline is heavily played this week, where she is just so strong. There's a reason why Alara's people don't work with humans, because you kiss, you touch their arm, you break bones. It's a very well told story. And then I'll get to the end a bit later. They also have confusing flashbacks with these looking aliens. Kind of feels like a commercial at the start to me, how it's played, like or a joke, or the Kalons are invading a new way. No, it turns out it's thousands of years ago, and you get their backstory. Not just that, you get the women-owned society. Ladies have to pretend they're the captains, and then men are stupid. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Men are okay. Maybe we'll be friends. Cool. And not just that, we also get the men go off and find an alien with a Kalon who they convert to be really friendly. And not just that, we also get Isaac sort of have the procedure, be amazingly emotional for about 6 minutes, then lose it all. This is, for me, the densest episode of just high quality. Everything here hits for me. Like, just this is what I want, because it's sillier, it's funner, it's more grounded, it's got more meaning to the show. I thought it was a good flashback stories for the Kalons. I thought that was well done. And the fact the guy just massacres the kids in the quarters, and you see that's also dark as this show can go. No, I give this super top tier. And to see Mark at the end, Mr. Isaac, give an amazing performance with emotion, just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, this for me is like the top tier of the season by an absolute mile. Thoughts, Stuart?
Yeah, this one was really fun, yet confusing. I thought that another race had found some Kalon, like a crashed Kalon ship, and were reprogramming them for something that was going to go all bad, and then you find out that it's basically just a flashback, because you never get told that it's a flashback.
I mean, you do by the middle end, but yeah, it's a bit confusing at the start.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. The thing that confused me right at the beginning, though, you see this nice. Hold on, I'm gonna reboot our modem, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let me talk to you. Fine.
Go into my review of this episode as soon as I get back.
Okay. Deary me. Yes. What do you guys think of this episode of the Origin of the Kalon? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it underwhelming? Overwhelming? You tell me. Yeah. I can just only say positive things about it. And yes, this one had a fun appearance by Elise from Stargate Universe, who played the mum in makeup. I caught the voice straight away. I was quite surprised how much they cut back to them. And in terms of, it's a simple beginning, and it's very Battlestar Galactica. I mean, to a T. But to have the kids be so obliviously vicious with causing the equivalent of pain to the Kalon servant man was really hard to watch. Like, wonderful acting. I mean, you told the actors, just have fun with it in a harsh way, and then hey, the Isaac stuff with Claire at the end was masterful. It's taking data like they could never have gone. It's a bit not creepy stalkery man boyfriend level, but because it's the most uncensored first love vibe, it's hard to kind of hard to put a lid on that. So it was full on, but in a very fun way. And see the other Kalon, the expression, it is remarkable how effective they can have a conversation between two masked individuals with zero expression on their faces, kind of like the Mandalorian vibe. They somehow and effectively capture tone and emotion. It's amazing.
And I'm back.
So, Stuart, what do you think of this episode? Greetings.
All right, greetings. Well, okay, this starts out with that nice futuristic car landing, and then the guy brings in this huge crate, and I'm like, where the hell was that? It wasn't attached to the top of the car. I mean, maybe it was like shrunk and in the trunk. I don't know. So that kind of threw me out of it right away. I'm like, my brain's already going, what? But then, yeah, the whole matriarchal society and fish out of water, Ed wearing like a lieutenant's uniform, was great. But I love in the briefing room where they're like talking about this culture, and Bortus is like, why would we even align ourselves with these people? And everybody kind of looks at him like, really?
Yeah, that was fun.
Little humor moments like that were great.
Yeah. Well, this one had so many ideas that each had their own spark.
Yeah.
And they didn't. I mean, Kelly was hella respectful considering. They could have played that off better, but yeah, men are dumb and slavish, and then fetch my water, and it's fun stuff.
And then we met Timus and the scientist, and Timus was great, and I expected some kind of twist as well, like Timus is going to turn evil or try to talk Isaac into turning on them or something, especially when they got left alone for that one conversation. I was like, no, don't do that. But no, there's none of this like weird twists that they have to throw in everything.
The twist is that it doesn't work. That's the biggest twist of all. I think we're all so convinced it's going to work. I didn't for a second think. I was sold. I thought this was going to be the start of the new show, and you'd get to see, like, I thought it was going to be a case of this would be the turning point for the season, that Isaac was going to be more and more human and choose to be his hologram more and more, and the Kalon would take like racist offense to that Kalons are so pathetic to organics to have to hide who they are, and there'd be a whole story about Isaac having to like get his non-emotions back, and there'd be a big arc. No, there isn't, but I was thinking that was kind of be an arc, but it just kind of hard ends.
Yeah. I did
But
like that the Kalons looked like the species that they were made by.
oh yeah,
Even down to the red eyes. I thought that's great because we would make our
oh
robots
that's
look like
interesting.
humans. So that was a great
I'd
touch.
never. That's hey, nice. I would say that.
And Isaac getting his emotion was fantastic. A great scene. But if he was that over the top about love, I was afraid that he was going to keep his emotions and at some point get jealous and like seriously injure somebody because of jealousy that was unwarranted jealousy. Because each emotion would be that intense. So I'm glad that kind of went by the wayside and that didn't happen. But they did say he could experience emotions temporarily if they did it again. So I wish they would have like done it before his wedding. So he had emotions for the wedding, or at least part of the wedding. Would have been nice.
It is kind of a Khan's blood situation. It's that easy.
Yeah.
The thing being is that I kind of took it as it might then become a drug metaphor because he's then chasing emotions. He has to inject himself to feel something, and that's the real him, and then Claire will get used to the emotioned him. Yeah, Claire will get used to the emotioned him and then not want to be with the non-emotion him, but it can only be that temporarily, and then I'm sure at some point the thing will stop working. So it's better just to say, this isn't going to work, let's not do it, because once you get used to the bliss of he loves you, you know what I mean? It's too strong a grenade to keep putting the pin on. It was just enough to know that he does have all these feelings for you. They're there. They're just encrypted by a lack of ability to.
Yeah.
Machine logic. Don't know.
And I've never wanted to see kids hurt more than in this episode. Those little bastards. I was so pissed off. They got exactly what was coming to them, in my opinion, because that was just bullshit.
Yeah, the murder part's a bit gruesome, and you don't know who feels.
It.
Yeah,
it puts you in the mindset of understanding slavery and what it would be like to be a slave and have to go through stuff like that. It's like, goddamn, man.
Well, yeah, actually, that's another allegory, because I didn't even consider that as a true allegory for. But because I'm just enjoying it as a story, I don't need to find these messages per se unless I really look for them. But I said while you were gone, the way they cause pain to it, and then the director said just have fun with it. Like it was so genuine glee with causing the pain that that pushes it over the absolute edge. Because I mean, it's a robot. You shouldn't necessarily feel bad for saying pick up my plate. Do you feel bad for your Alexa or your toaster? But there are lines, and certainly it's the Cylons all over again, but they did it in an interesting way, and even having like the house be so effective as a set. I like the set design. I like the vibe. It was, And then going to the dude's office and being like, "Sir, we've had 4,000 sendbacks because they're faulty." Yes, that was a possibility. You knew? Yes, but money. Like what a chilling sort of scene of just like fuck it.
Yeah, a little too on the nose with that one, unfortunately. But yeah, this was a great episode.
Well, and even the idea, and this is another weird allegory where often in TNG you have both Picard saying, "Always follow the rules, because the rules are there for a reason," and then never just blindly follow orders because you have to think for yourself.
Yep.
Right. Okay. I was shocked that they had a scene where the girls, Kelly and the security said to Claire, "It's okay to ask your man to change."
Yeah.
Because normally you say it's okay to be yourself, but you're actually saying it's okay for you to change everything about them because you don't like who they are. I was shocked that was the message they went for. I was expecting Isaac to do it to himself without telling her, which he kind of did as well, but the way they played it, I was like, oh, you're going full on change. It's good to ask, to force change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, after Isaac talked to Timmons, sorry, and
Timmy!
I thought the same thing. Timmis. Anyway, Jesus Christ, silent. I thought. Anyway, and Claire comes to him and says, "So what do you think of him? Like, what do you think about this having emotions thing?" And he's like, "Never crossed my mind."
Yep.
She goes, "You didn't think about me once?" I thought that was pretty poignant. Like, you have the opportunity to actually
be all in here.
Yeah, exactly. And yet you didn't even think about it. I understand that might have made her make that decision, because he wouldn't have thought about it. So she kind of has to tell him that maybe you want to try that. But I think it all played out very well. Yes, having him change for her is not really the right thing to do, but with the way it went, she knows for a fact that he loves her now because he expressed it all. So I think it was very well done, and the fact that she knows that now. So yes, she fell in love with him when he didn't have emotions. Now that he doesn't have them again, at least she knows that that's how he feels. He just has never been able to express it because of his programming. I think it was very neatly wrapped up. And yes, there was a moment there where it's like, you shouldn't be telling people to change. You can't change people. Don't go into a relationship thinking you can change somebody. So,
but it's the most double-edged sword, because if you genuinely would like something else from the person you love, and you don't want to ask them to see how they want to feel like changing, then you might then leave them because you look for something different. Whereas, you know, like say, oh, they have these 10 annoying habits. Well, they're never going to stop them. I might as well leave them. You know, as in the person. So we all want the best for our others, our significant others. So,
and it's
you're
okay
addicted to cocaine, but don't change. It's like no, you have to change.
Yeah.
You know, smoking is going to kill you and make you taste bad and smell bad. So, it's very rational, but also it's weird. This show's so on the point to then say, make him change.
But it is worth also saying that, like, having conversations with each other, saying, you know, when you do this, when you say something like this off the cuff, it kind of hurts my feelings a bit. Can you kind of just be aware of that at least? You know, have those conversations, which I think is what they were more going for. But
yeah, I just think the Kelly thing was unnecessary. They could just have had her talk to Isaac and logically come round to the conversation.
Yes.
Just them talking, because they're a great pair. They have a good banter, despite him not having a face.
Yeah. And the whole Lamar and what's her name? Anyway, the sex scenes, spitting out the teeth. Like, what position were you doing? Oh, okay, I know exactly. Very brutal, and then him trying to limp to the sick bay, and Isaac's like, at your current velocity, it'll take you 19 minutes to get there. Do you want help? You want me to carry you? He's like, nah, nobody needs to see that. It was very good. And Claire trying to figure out what was going on was also hilarious. That was a nice little sideline.
Yeah, I liked everything about the side plot with them. I thought that was very, very good. Just super interesting, because we never really got that ever with Alara. And it's like, you know, it's like dating the Hulk. Expect pain, but at a certain point, that final bit, the graphicness they brutalize the actor Lamar is so wonderfully horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's because if you can heal anybody, I mean, if you can change a gender and make all the food, like, it's such a lot of medical tech. That's healing's like, it's not that hard. So you can go that far. Boy, it sells the point. I just want to know
what they were doing under the covers, because the covers are like, and then ow, and then they come out. It's like, what the fuck were you doing under there? That's not how sex works, guys.
Well, you don't know. This is 2600 sex.
This is true, I guess.
But not just that though, because at the end they do or don't stay dating.
They do stay dating. She wants to break up with him because she hurts him, and they have a discussion, and he's like, well, we can work this out and whatever. And then she kisses him and grabs his arm, and he's like, she's like,
what a ballsy joke to make.
I'm just playing with you.
Absolute balls to the wall joke, yeah. And he really excelled in that, you know. And considering there was a scene last season where literally a naked woman except a shirt came to the door, and it was like, damn, this is a good scene. You know, he's been a bit of a player, not really, but a bit. It was good to see him with a girl. Although then later in the last episode,
the spiky girl.
Yes, dude, yeah. But he comes across meaning well. But in the last episode, his advice is what Claire yells at him for, which we'll get to in a little bit. Like, so they're kind of playing both sides a little bit with his on that.
That's a great scene. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yes. But no, favorite episode of the season, not even close, hands down.
Yeah.
Right,
and knowing going back and watching the episode again that it's all flashbacks for the Kalon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that it was kind of played where you weren't sure what was happening, because I honestly thought that a crashed ship on another planet, they found Kalon, reactivated them, and started selling them.
Well, kind of like Stranger Worlds, like, oh, we made our own warp drive. Oh, we found our own Kalon and reverse engineered them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it was going to be their next plot to take over the galaxy. We tried war, let's try genocide via implanting ourselves in races, homes, and murdering them all from the inside. The long game.
Yeah.
But
then you go back and watch, and it's like, oh, the Kalon design looks like the race. That's great.
Yeah. I kind of wish they'd been season 1 Kalon design, because they changed design.
Me too.
And it's like, but... Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Small.
Stuart, do you think it's time for an ad?
Sure, yeah. Ad time.
And welcome back.
That's awesome.
Guys, we are still $85 away from our minimum, so if you want to throw in a couple of 5s to your favourite episode of this season, that would be phenomenal. We can get there slowly and surely by a few 5s.
We still have 3 episodes to talk about, so...
Yes, and 101 votes in the poll. Season 3 is winning by an absolute slam dunk.
Yep.
So I don't think that poll could even change if it tried.
But as what I said, I mean, it's freshest in our minds. I haven't gone back and watched season 1 or 2. I need to go do that so I can actually answer that question properly. I think there's that bias that we just watched it. So.
I feel like Orville would be a good me at your house live stream watching it with booze, like binge watching season 1.
Yeah.
That I felt would be really like fun, chill, chat, enjoy show. Hi Robert, how's it going? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, episode 8. That's the end of
episode
where I
8.
have
Midnight Blue.
things for.
This is a Dolly Parton episode.
Ah, yes.
This has a massive plot hole for me, by the way. But
this one does feel more. Something doesn't quite. Yeah, this one is lacking a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Yago puts in 55 krona and says,
Dude.
Hooray for Trekyards.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Well, hooray for you. Thank you. Is that Iago from Aladdin? Or is that your actual name? Or is that Iago?
I don't know. I think it's Yago.
Well, it's like some people think Han Solo is Han Solo, or is it Hans Olo? Because it could be either in how everyone says it.
Yes, it's true.
Sorry, go for it. This episode. What happens?
Midnight Blue, they take Topa to the all-female Mocklin camp, and she meets that old lady, the writer, and it's really great. The old writer is inspired by Dolly Parton music, and
not just inspired,
yeah,
kind of obsessed.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Then we get the Luminites, the little firefly things, and that the blue one is really rare, and if you see it, it's special. Then they have the whole discussion of, do you want to help us with our rebellion, with our underground, with our resistance? You get the frequency and the name of our contact, and you'll have to pass on messages. And Topa agrees to this. And then out of the blue, pardon the pun, of blue, Luminite shows up. A lot of people said it was a fake Luminite, like a bugging device, and that's what led her away. But that makes no sense, because if it was a surveillance device, they would have heard the frequency and they would have heard the name of the contact, so they wouldn't have needed her in the first place. So there's a real problem with that whole why follows this thing away and then gets kidnapped by the Mocklins. That threw me out of it, because not the first time, but the second time watching it, I'm like, why are they kidnapping her? How would they have known all this? And then somebody in my first reaction said, oh, the blue one was obviously a fake one, a surveillance one. But in order for them to have known that that's what was discussed, they would have had to have heard it, which means they already had the frequency and they had the name of the contact. So it made no sense to kidnap the kid. Anyway, kidnap the kid, and Bortus and Kelly go after her, and really brutal kind of like at the end with Bortus zaps out the other guy's eye, the guy that was torturing her. I thought the sets, this is what I kind of mentioned to you this at the time, but you hadn't seen it yet. The hallways that they were going through looked very much like a Goa'uld ship, just because the way the lighting was placed and stuff. And it's reminded me so much of a lot of them sneaking around ships in Stargate.
Yeah, it's funny. I was saying again. I tried to, because we did it in sort of batches, because we delayed a little bit. So I watched this as well with Dad, and I said, Stuart, it was like an hour and 10 minutes in, of hour and a half. Stuart said about Stargate, and literally 1 minute later, the chorus was like, oh my god, it's them!
Yes.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went back and watched some Stargates since that, and they're not quite all the
No.
same. But it's the way the lighting's like
They're goldy orange. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the color as well. It was very it felt
Reminiscent.
Like yeah. I can't remember what the Orville was doing at this time. The Orville did come after them, but was there another side story in this one? Because I don't think that there was.
Oh yeah, well yeah, no, it's because the Orville, because the Orville's at Earth, dealing with the political stuff of you kidnapped a kid.
Oh yes, and
then Kelly's has chased after them at FTL to try and chase them. So they've done a stealth mission by themselves.
Yes.
And the Orville then does a round of political stuff, and the Mocklan's like, but there's no proof, so if you piss us off, we'll leave. Fuck you all. Maybe this lady's actually a terrorist because she broke all the rules. Do you not care about the rules? Punish her. And everyone's like, oh yeah, shit, you're right.
Yeah.
But then when he beats up children, then it's like, okay, he does something worse. We'll put him down first rather than her. Ugh.
I remember that now. And then Gordon speaks up, and it's like, no, don't speak up. And Gordon says what's on my mind.
It's like, why are you there, Gordon? Oh, to be pissed. That's the reason you're there.
It's the perfect example of why I couldn't be a politician, because I would have told the Mocklans to go fuck themselves right away. Yeah, that was great. And then we got the Dolly Parton scene where Ed convinces her to actually go to Earth and stand trial for this.
Yep.
For the rebellion. And I remember now. And nice ending scene. I love that it all plays out very well. They get back. Topa refused treatment so that everyone could see what they did to her. And then the Mocklans look like idiots. So
and leave.
Good end.
And it ends with, well, now we're screwed. We were going to be friends with the Krill. Because at the end of last season, we had Krill, Mocklans, and us against Kalon. It was looking good. And 2 episodes ago, we lost the Krill. Today, we lost the Mocklans. And then it kind of all... it kind of implies we're in Doomsday mode at that point. Which is the impetus for the next episode where it ups the pace. So did you like the episode? I mean, you summarised it super well, but did you like it? How does it rank on your numberings?
It was probably my second least favorite. Like I said, Gently Falling Rain was probably my least favorite. This one's right there, though, because, again, it was very frustrating for me. Hearing all the political back and forth and not trying to step on the Mocklans' toes, even though they, at every chance, you have to make compromises for the Mocklans. But, when the time comes, they won't make any compromises for us. That shit frustrates the shit out of me. And...
Well, they did make a compromise by not going to war the last time we betrayed them. I mean, they have taken a lot of shit as well. Like, politics is about compromise.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, they were in the wrong, but they do get,
I'm just saying, when I'm watching it, I get frustrated with that, and it just gets annoying. It's like, just get on with it. Like, just tell them that they're fucking assholes, and let's move on. Let them leave. I don't care. So, for that reason, and also those plot holes, why did they kidnap her? Sure,
how?
If that was a listening device, that's fine. They know that she's involved with the rebellion now, but they also know everything that was told to her. So why bother even kidnapping her? Use the frequency and the contact name, and just bugger off. It would have made the whole episode just done. There wouldn't have been the whole having to go get her thing. But we find out that there's like this secret Mocklin base and all that, and it's like, okay, the Mocklins are kind of doing assholish stuff, but I don't know. It's just there's a few little problems with the episode that just annoyed me a little bit.
Grind your gears.
Yes. How about you? What did you think of it, though?
This one's a weird one for me because it's really two very different episodes. It spends a lot of time at the start on the village. A lot of time.
Which is the village also kind of reminded me a lot of Stargate.
Oh yeah, very much so. And then it hard shifts into the action movie, but they feel so different because they are so different. Like I was thinking, okay, is it over yet? Oh wait, it's another half an hour. Really?
Yeah.
Like this one felt like it was really stretching the format. 'Cause this one's I think their first hour and 20. But because it's not formatted like a movie, the pace is excruciatingly slow in the first half if it was a movie. But it works as a two-parter, but it's not a two-parter, it's a one-parter. So this one I think is where the format kind of breaks apart, at least for its full potential. I liked it in general. I don't mind the politics stuff because it's more meaningful to the universe. If you're not going to pay off the aliens that infect people and go crazy, at least this stuff has payoffs, right? It has certain stakes to it. I liked the lady a lot, the author lady from the first two seasons a lot. But the way she turns and says, "I'm going to make this child my slave and risk everyone's lives," felt so dodgy. And she's played like a villain, which I like. Like, she goes from being the hero to being an absolute villain. You don't use children like that. That's super inappropriate, and I really look down on her for that. I know it's the big cause, but that's not okay. Because Topa does not know better. Of course, she's now a girl. She's going to be looking to do all the good she can. Doesn't matter the consequences. Doesn't matter if I get hurt, she gets beaten up. So I thought very poorly of the character of the lady for that. Ruined the character for me. But that's what you meant to think, I think. Okay, fine, good, whatever. But then the Dolly Parton stuff's fun. I could tell the de-age. That was a very nicely done de-age. I don't know Dolly Parton personally. I didn't ever get into this household, like I know of, but you know, it's not a cultural thing in my house. But I liked the de-age. And I'm sure you know it was filmed entirely separately. So it was because Dolly didn't want to. I mean, she's quite old. Didn't want to be COVID risky, so it was filmed entirely in two parts, and they beautifully stitched together. They did a very, very good job that you really can't tell. The lighting, hell, to match that lighting was amazing. But I thought once they split and they go to the other base, I thought the quality went down a bit because the corridors aren't well designed. They're too big and too sparse. They just kind of feel like, do we get this from another series, and do they strip off all the greeblies? It doesn't feel like a base. And also the way they shoot the Mocklins, they have zero game. Like, the Mocklins just die and don't have any sort of tactical ability. They are literally the warriors of the fleet, yet they are the most pussy-footed, killable people. And you can't keep like, they were shooting and murdering these people is the way it's kind of played. Like, stop. These are Union officers, Union people, and just murdering them flat out. Like, it's all a bit of a weird situation.
It's like Mocklin's Section 31.
Yeah. And then you get Kelly's random liking of Borters, which comes out of nowhere. You get the absolute padding of them landing like 10 miles away to walk over a mountain and then ignoring the mountain on the way back because they don't want to deal with it. But you climbed over a mountain, made this big jump, and then they got back in 5 minutes.
And speaking of that jump, she would be a lot more injured than that. I love that it was repairing her arm, though.
Yeah.
She had a torn ligament. I'm like, seriously? Did you see that fall?
Yep.
She would have had a broken rib or two. I wish I would have addressed that a little bit, but oh well.
Yeah. No, I think as soon as they land, the quality dips quite heavily.
Yeah.
But they're trying something quite ambitious, but I think they fail, honestly. I do like the Topa being beaten scene, although I think if you know she's not going to say anything, then torturing scenes only go so far because tell me, no, tell me, okay, no, right, you done it twice, you can't do it anymore. Like it's the same thing again and again. And I was shocked that Borders didn't just murder the guy at the end. It's like, you don't leave the guy who got the information that will ruin the city, the village. Like, he's gonna go tell his government, who are then gonna find the spies and kill them. So you kill the guy. I don't know why he didn't kill him. That felt like a big plot hole as well. I mean, Borders is absolutely the guy who just murdered him right out for beating his daughter. That's okay, fine, whatever. So I thought that was
Kelly
really
took authority there and yelled at him. He's like, Lieutenant! And
yeah, but
actually, that's what stopped him.
I mean, it's way worse to burn out his other eye than just to shoot him. I mean, that's, So I thought that was weird. Like I say, I think this definitely fell apart a bit at the end. But then the big scene, I mean, this is COVID, and yet they have this big, broad scene in the conference room, in a grand hall with all the bloody extras, all the makeup people, phenomenal quality, beautiful as ever. All this money being thrown at the screen was really good, and it was a really good end. But I definitely think this one let itself down in a few big ways.
Yeah.
But I think it's just they're rushing through some storylines. This one anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
The ending would have been better if, like you said, they ran to their shuttle and then escaped. It would have been better if they stole a shuttle or a fighter, one of those fighters.
That's 1,000%, yeah.
That fighter scene was great through the.
Although
canyon.
too easy. These guys are literally the best warriors in the fleet. You kill them with zero effort. Come on, guys.
Well,
at least try.
I give them a tip of the hat for the Top Gun maneuver.
Yes,
the brakes will fly right by, with the Cobra head, as it's called. So that was fun. And also the ending with Clyden's return. Clyden realized that, because when he left, he said, "I wish you were never born. You're dead to me," essentially, in such hurtful words. Came back and he redeemed himself. And even to the point of it when Kelly comes in their quarters at the end, he's like, "Come and sit with us," and he kind of gives her that little, pours her soup and then gives her that nice little look and a little smile. It was nice. He actually redeemed Clyden, which I didn't think was possible after the last time we saw him. I thought it was very well done.
And it's funny, the amount of hate I saw after the episode aired for We Hate Clyden was insane.
Yeah.
It was like, fuck Clyden, I always hated him. I've liked his performance. I thought he was a super interesting character, like the way he's been playing it. I thought it was super interesting. To come back was a hell of a bold move. But then why the hell introduce maybe Kelly likes Bortus to then, no, we're just going to...
Well, because Bortus just automatically accepted Clyden back. Because of their relationship, and
there's no drama
was kind
caused
of
by it.
There could be, like there could have been. They didn't go there though. Maybe they'll become a threesome.
Well, that would be interesting. In fact, that would be interesting because I have zero interest in seeing them together. They're not a good pair. Bortus is not the guy for Kelly.
And yes, sorry, we got some more super chats.
Yes,
Ray Ricks, £2. Dark mode, Bortus at the end, scary. And appropriate. It was very Worf-like, like throwing a Mechleth into what's his name? Murtaugh. No.
Gowron.
No, not Gowron.
Who are you looking for?
The guy you killed in TNG.
Duras.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, I expected that kind of thing at the end, but
yeah. Yeah.
Tab Extra throws in 50 krona. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My favorite moment was when Isaac invited his entire race to attend the wedding. Yeah, we'll get there. We're not talking about that episode yet.
That was a chef's kiss moment.
Yes. So yeah, this one was good. But yeah, there were a few problems with it as well, like you said. The whole walk to the base. Yes, you don't want to be detected, fine. But then all of a sudden, let's escape this building. And all of a sudden, boom, they're at the shuttle with a kid. They had to traverse rough terrain.
Who's just got beaten with an inch of her life. Really going to be able to run the 10 miles?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a joke, that structure.
If they had stolen a shuttle or a fighter and landed beside theirs, got in theirs, and then done the chase, would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, or even they cloaked and went inside the base.
Yeah, they have cloak on those damn shuttles.
So. Which is great, and they wonderfully cloak, and they like... But then again, I think they should be able to detect the cloak. Like, these are the guys that make their weapons. Why can't they detect the cloak of a Union ship?
Maybe that's why they landed so far away. I think there was cut scenes in this one, honestly.
Oh, really? It was too long already.
Feels like. It's what it feels like. It feels like a lot of those things could have been explained. Even them kidnapping her, how they found out.
Oh, yeah. That
could have been explained with scenes that were just chopped out.
No, yeah, we skipped that for a second. Yeah, that was super odd.
Well, they make a reference to... Well, the title's called Midnight Blue. That's one of the arguments somebody on my first reaction had. That's why they knew that the blue luminite was actually a listening device. That's how they knew. And they led her away from the encampment.
It's a little bug.
I know.
There's never been a single indication they can make a bug as a listening device tech. And they don't show it. There's no reason to think specifically. The Mulkins aren't that... That's not...
Well, they do show the bug. It crawls into her hand. And it's a bug bug. It's not like a mechanical bug.
Yeah.
So...
It felt like a super contrived thing. Even why would they even think she knew? Like,
exactly.
You don't get a scene when they're watching her. You get a scene of her leaving and they grab her. There's zero instinct of them like checking her. Now I 100% buy she's a race traitor. Punishment, get her, right?
Yeah.
Because she almost caused a war. Fine, that's enough of a reason. Not because she's, if they'd stolen her for the easiest reason is hate, she's a, because the females the 1 in a billion genetic or weirdness. Fine, I get it. But then if she'd said, "I'll tell the writer character on you," what do you mean? Have you taught her? Yes, we're great friends now. Or she's, like you could have easily led into, we know you know something, I'll beat it out of you. But there's a huge logical leap where there's 0 to fill in the gap. Now, if there'd been a female in the camp who was spying for the Mocklins, that also could have worked. Like, watching the... Yeah, that wasn't well done.
Yeah, actually, if one of the ladies in the camp had overheard, because she was sitting on one of the benches nearby, boom. Yeah, she's working for the Mocklins. They put her... Yeah.
Or given that gender is as easy to swap as one single operation, imagine if a man had pretended to a woman to be a spy,
Yeah.
and he had gone on the shuttle like a lady, like a really like feminine Mocklin, and then that had been the interrogator at the end, like obviously not with the same makeup, like, but you're my friend. Well, no, like that could have been the most harsh reveal, because of course, I mean, why wouldn't the Mocklins do that to then infiltrate the place who they want to break down?
Yep.
There's big enough stakes here culturally to do that. God, that'd be so much more interesting, because then would have had like the lady's like third in command or in charge of the water or in charge of, or even like the lady, can you imagine if she was like in charge of like studying the bugs, like as a super red herring, like, oh yes, it's an anthropologist, and turns out no, they're the baddie. See, there you go, solved it.
Yep. So overall, a great episode, as they all have been. But yeah, probably my second least favorite.
I would, yeah, lower on my ranking.
And it's the only reason it's that way is because the ending's a little bit stretched out, and it's also very plot holy.
Thanks, Lex. Yeah, I think this one of all so far has been the most structurally unsound and plot weakest. Good scenes, but
it's like Picard level writing for the plot holes.
Yes, it is the most Picard episode. You're 100% right, Stuart. But it's trying to be very ambitious though. It does really big things, but none of them quite work. And also having Ed just entire sideline to political stuff and isn't doing much. Anyway, right, cool. Episode 9, Stuart.
Domino.
This
one starts off with a bang, literally. The Orville, surrounded by a bunch of Kalon ships, sets off this weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Decimates every Kalon ship. I'm thinking, all right, simulation, cool. Nope, not a simulation. Again, why is it just the Orville there? Or was there other ships there? I think there's just the Orville.
Well, there's one scene where they're in the middle of a pack and they shoot because they're surrounded by a whole fleet.
Actually, there is a whole fleet there because none of the Union ships get affected by it.
Yes.
So we got this doomsday killer weapon that can kill the Kalon. Reminded me very much of like what they were going to implant in the Borg with Hugh.
Oh yeah.
To destroy the Borg.
Felt that too. Yeah.
And then it's like, I forget a lot of what happens in the middle, actually. I know they have to go and there's this huge dogfight on the planet because they got to... Oh, what the hell happened?
Well, Stuart, what do you think? It's time for an ad.
Okay.
Welcome back, Stuart. You've had time to think, so...
Have I?
No, I'm going to swap the poll now, guys, so that's been for most of the live. So I asked, which is your favourite season with a slam dunk? Season 3 at 72%. Season 2 at 16%, and Season 1 at only 12%. I'm going to think of the poll. Where's the rest?
I remember. So, Ted Danson, he steals the device very much like Admiral Cartwright kind of deal in Star Trek 3 or Star Trek 6, and gives it to the Kalons. The Kalons are going to use it to... Was it the Kalons that were going to use it? No, the Mocklins.
And the Krill have joined forces.
The Mocklins and the Krill have joined forces, yes. And they're going to use it to destroy all the Kalon. And so there's this whole gamble or situation to get it back or to stop the apocalypse, essentially. And because we've made friends with the Kalon now, haven't we? No, not yet. Yes, we do. We do in this episode. We confront them with it, and they decide to stand down and have peace now with the Union because of this device. And so they have to stop the device from going off. Dogfight ensues. Another Top Gun move, the exact same one in this fight as well, which is fine. Top Gun 2 is a thing, it's relevant. And Charlie saves the day. Charlie sacrificed herself to stop the device, gets everybody off. Charlie dies, and sad moment. Now, the one thing that's interesting, Charlie says, I'm going to approach this with four-dimensional thinking. That involves time. So I have a feeling Charlie, if they do another season, Charlie might come back as an older Charlie. Maybe she went back in time to try to save her friend. So maybe she didn't die in the explosion. Instead, with that one line of four-dimensional whatever she said, I have a feeling that the explosion actually sent her back in time, and maybe she saves her friend's life, and they're going to find her in like a future episode with her friend because she's going to die. Get there right beforehand. It doesn't really change anything. It saves her. So maybe that's the case. That one line threw me off, and I think it's a red herring that she's dead. I think she's going to show up, and it's going to be like, oh, surprise, Charlie's back. But yeah, other than that, that's the episode. There's a lot of action in this one, and the sacrifice of Charlie, her whole character arc this entire season, from hating them to sacrificing herself for them, I think was masterfully done, and I'll miss her. I was going to like her. She had evolved over the course of the episodes to not be as, because the first time we saw her, I'm like, I hope that stops soon. Her hate for because that's making her very unattractive. But yeah, it went very well, and I do like the sacrifice at the end. So there's probably other stuff that happened, but I'll think of that as we talk about it. But yeah, I thought it was a fantastic episode and a real shocker, a real surprise actually. So how about you?
We'll read the poll, Stuart. I think this will be a hard one for people to vote on. Less unanimous, hopefully.
Which was your favorite episode of our favorite 4? Episode 10, the Isaac wedding. Episode 6, the time travel episode. Episode 9, the Kalen weapon of mass destruction. Episode 7, origin of the Kalon. There you go. Go vote in the poll, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode, Samuel. Domino. Oh, before you do, Ray Ricks, £5. Ed channels his best Picard in the strategy meeting with the admirals in this episode. Yes, there was a few good Picard moments for sure. But yeah. All right. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this one felt kind of like SG-1's end, where it suddenly jumps to, we now have Asgard tech, la la la. Like, we're going to rush through the storyline. Because introducing a WMD that kills Kalon effortlessly,
yeah,
in the first 5 minutes of the episode, flawlessly, and make them our bitches in the first 10 minutes, really radical, and it does feel like, and now we've got to finish that storyline to make next episode work. It's not, it is rushed, but doesn't feel rushed, because it kind of works for me, but it is like, can we not have set this up at all in earlier episodes? Just hinted at building and designing a device, not even once mentioned it, please? But I like the device. It's very, very powerful when they then go to Kalon space instantly and destroys 2 waves of ships. Then they land and they're like, so you're gonna kill us? No, we don't want to kill you. Just want to make you have peace. Oh, so you'll kill us if we don't make peace? Yes. I guess we make peace then. Good. Until we find a way of destroying the device. You won't though. So will you kill us for what? No. Like it's very logical. Like literally, you die if not peace. But it's so harsh to itself. I was waiting for the plot line where, just like replicators in Stargate or Borg, you see them like Kalon scientists like work out how to find a defeater for it, because obviously that's what you do. They've got trillions of gigabytes of memory of aliens. How are they not able to? Because they explain how the device works, and you should be able to, make a fix against it. It's part of their programming. They should be able to patch for it. So it's surprising that they don't even address that. And then it gets really hard cut to, now they're in a cabin. It's like, was this a time jump? Are we epiloguing the entire show now? That was really weird. Kind of like, that would have been cut to like one brief shot if it had been in a normal episode. And then you suddenly get this ramp up of, now we're going to steal it, now we're going to the other guys. A really fun scene of, we're a man society and you're a female, but we're going to lead. Shut the hell up. Fine, we won't. Was all good and good reason the sets. And then the epic shootout to the nth degree. That was very, very ambitious, very, very big, very, very cool. Secret Mocklin facility that just happens to have power bigger than any starship that can affect the entire galaxy. It's like, okay, a little bit far-fetched. They suddenly have that much power generation. Why is that built normally then? Like, don't invent a god-level quantum drive out of nowhere.
No, it's a ground-based one. I mean, it's easier to do on a planet than on a ship, let's say.
But why wouldn't then their homeworld have one? Or Krill's homeworld?
Maybe they do. Maybe that's what's powering the cities. I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if it was that easy, then also Earth could have had the device. Like, they never say it's played like a massive deal. But it's like, well, what does it do then? But then to have the Kalon then be asked to help or insisted to help is really satisfying to have Kalon Prime go with them, and you're like, oh, he's gonna backstab. He's gonna backstab. Oh, he's gonna backstab. He murders some guys, but okay, fine. But doesn't backstab.
They don't do all the tropes that Star Trek's been doing.
No, they don't.
Which is good.
But it's because they know where they're going, Stuart, versus rewriting as they go.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, it's a very, we need to wrap up the entire season three season storyline to make next episode work. It feels very wrappy-uppy, but very impressive space battle. Stupid as hell to have Chief Engineer in a fighter. The fuck was that?
Yep. That'd be like putting the Forge in a shuttle for that.
You're more use out there.
Yeah.
That was moronic.
Yes.
Like, fine, the pilot guy, if you really want, he should have got killed then. But the engineer, the hell was that? That was pathetic. This is not brain sensical, ridiculous. But then like the jump sequence was great, and and then her sacrificing herself was good. I liked it. It was powerful. And then it was a logical. Now we're friends. Cool. It's like what? Yeah. And then, just like that, the genocide war is over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I love the whole discussion of we should just use it against the Kalon, and Ed's the one that's like, that's just that's genocide, whatever. And I'm like, just use it for Christ's sakes. Again, I got frustrated. But his reluctance to use it, and yet going into the Kalon homeworld, and taking out a wave of ships, and then another wave of ships, because he had to. I thought that was great. You're doing what you have to do, even though it's morally you're not really on board with it, but you're doing your job. Again, I don't know why they sent the frickin' Orville. It's not the flagship. It's not the most important ship ever. Yes, it maybe had the weapon installed on it, but you could probably move that to another ship, like a dreadnought. I also hate these battles in a way because Union ships are getting annihilated left, right, and center, and the Orville's just like bobbing and weaving and ducking and not getting hurt at all, making one or two hits on it. But you see like a big dreadnought come in and all of a sudden it gets annihilated, and you're like, really? Wow. Okay. Just seems kind of sketch to me. But no, I mean, there were some very ambitious battles in this, both on the planet as well as in the air or in space. And it was great to see. I also have other questions, like where the hell are all these fighters stored? Especially even in the one Tale of Two Topas, where they do the concert in the shuttle bay. Where do the shuttles get stored? There's no room on the Orville to store
fighters. Because they only have one shuttle, but they may have an entire fighter to degree. Yeah.
Because there's always two shuttles and one fighter in that bay. But for the concert, they're gone. It's not like the Enterprise where there's enough room to have like an elevator for another deck underneath. There's nothing underneath if you look at the Orville. So where are the shuttles and stuff stored? Anyway, not a big deal, but it's one of those things. And you only have like one fighter apparently on the Orville. But yeah, there was a fleet action, so there were other fighters. That's fine. But I don't know.
I mean, my assumption is they just like pilot them out.
Yeah, this one I think I only watched twice as opposed to 3 or 4 times like some of the other ones. So I don't remember a lot of the middle stuff that happened in this one, but
I remember liking this one and appreciating the extra third versus last time where it wasn't quite as well done. I thought this was a more interesting like set. But like I said, a bit too quick wrap up for Kalon, but it's hit so hard. And yeah, why the hell didn't they put, like, say, the weapon on a Leviathan class and have that run? Even put Ed in command. That's fine. Have him be temp. It's the same bloody bridge. Like, the Orville is not strong enough to go at Krill by himself. Like, at least send a fleet with him, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But I did like it.
I do like that.
I
do like that the war kind of ended quickly. Like
they're robots.
Just
they can
cease
be
all hostilities.
It did.
Yeah, and so they go to the cabin to celebrate, like, yeah, we're at peace now, cool, blah, blah, blah.
And you're like, is
and then
it
the
really
thing gets
over
stolen at the same time.
You're like, is that it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought Kalons were using, like, their holographic tech like Isaac uses to get on board and steal it.
5,000%.
No, it's actually Ted Danson is behind it all and gives it to the Mocklins and the Krill.
Which I didn't quite buy. It was okay.
It was very. It seemed very out of nowhere, and very quickly just kind of glazed over. But
Oh,
that's what happened.
You didn't know this guy has these big political opinions? No, because you invented them in this episode.
He's been in 1 or 2 episodes.
No, I mean, but his idea of like,
yes, yeah.
him being more not radical, just like a.
Well, you can say the same thing about Cartwright. He was in Star Trek 4. He seemed fine, and then Star Trek 6, he's that's like.
Yeah, but he wasn't used as much.
Yeah.
I did like it though, and the destruction. I mean, there's one specific scene where they pan through the destruction of the Kalon ships, and it is gruesome as hell in terms of like billions of polygons worth of destroyed debris. And it's like there were Kalons that got killed. Like that was a, you know, if you.
And my thought is, who the hell's going to clean that up?
No one.
Because it was around a star base. You're gonna have to like get cleanup crews cleaning that up for like the next couple months at least.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
It's not like they have transporters where they can just beam it away from the space station.
Oh, they can blow it up. I mean, just keep shooting. They also don't have ammo. So, but guys, we're still $65 away from our minimum. So if you can, that's what 12 5 score 10s. Get us there if you can. So the final episode then, Stuart, 10 out of 10. The one that just came out, the Isaac wedding, straight from the get-go. It starts
Future unknown.
It starts with a very long walk by Isaac, then realizing that yes, marriage. You have Mocklin remarriage ceremony and like forced sex, I guess, is a part of it, and I guess
sexual assault.
That doesn't really pay off later, but it's a thing. And then you have, no, that's it. That's the storylines. Oh no, and the lady from the season 1 planet with the ups and downs, it comes back, and then doesn't really have her own story so much as is just listen to Prime Directive. Okay, cool. But it gives Kelly a lot to do. And then obviously, yes, the joke with the Mocklin, the Kalon coming in, you get the best man speech joke, you get the Bortus being which I thought was going to be a reveal. I thought he was going to be genuinely good at what he did. I was kind of sad that it made him just as shit as everyone thought. I thought that would have been really good if he was genuinely amazing as Bortus Elvis. It's kind of sad that he wasn't. But yeah, what do you think of this episode then?
This one I really liked, and a lot of people were like kind of underwhelmed by it being a season finale or series finale, if that's the case. I was less so. I was waiting for something to happen. I liked that it was a day in the life of basically everything went to plan, everything kind of just da-da-da-da. Yeah, you got the girl from the vote up, vote down planet. That was a nice little touch, her wanting to go back, and I'm like, check her goddamn bag. Sure enough, the alarm goes off. I'm like, love it, thank God. And then she decides to stay. Love that as well. But I love the whole argument for and against the Prime Directive. That whole conversation, like I said, this is the best episode explaining the Prime Directive ever made, and it wasn't even in Star Trek. Because they really look at all points, which is great.
Well, they dedicate almost an entire Star Trek episode to it. Do you know what I mean? In terms of length of an episode. It's a very... Yeah. In a good way.
Yeah, and then showing her the planet that after the influence, 5 years later, it's like decimated. And the whole, the technological advancement and the social advancement have to go hand in hand. I loved it. It was a great argument and very well done. As for the Isaac wedding thing, again, I wish they would have given him emotion just before the wedding, just for like even an hour. But loved the dress uniforms. Their take on the Monster Maroon was very cool. Nice little nod. Loved the little subtle humor of, yes, inviting the entire Kalon planet, except for a small contingent, and 4,000 ships show up. Love that. Can't bring you all on board.
How trusting.
I know.
Of them to send all of their ships. Holy hell.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, I expected, now that there's like a small contingent left on Kalon, I expected the Mocklins and the Krill to attack and destroy the planet, or at least occupy it, and then have the Kalon basically blame the Union for it. It could be a whole dramatic thing, and that might happen
season twist.
4. That might happen as the very first scene in the next season. It's still the marriage, still the reception. Yeah. All of a sudden they get an alert that Kalon is under attack.
Yeah,
I could see that being a thing, actually.
Yeah, no time has passed. Let's really screw with everything.
Yeah, but I did like the pacing of it. I did like the fact that there was no big bad. There was nothing to do really. It was just wedding planning, dealing with this girl that wants to go back, the interactions with sober man. You served your purpose. You may go now. And then later, I felt I loved the representation of Ed at the when they're doing the wedding shopping. He's like, that looks good too. I like that one. It's like, well, that's not helpful. It's like, but personally, that's how I am. I'm like, they both look good. You pick the best one. That's not what I want. Well, don't ask me. I'm a man. They both look great for different reasons. Anyway.
Well, it's once you start going into detail, they'll criticize you for criticizing them. It's like, but you're not. You're just saying.
I like the second one because it shows more cleavage. Oh my God, how dare you? It's like, well, you asked.
Well, the first one's tighter, makes you look thinner. You're saying look fat. The other one, no, I'm not. I'm pointing out the fact of the. Yes. Yeah.
The weirdness of a Kalon stripper with little pop out pasty tassels is just disturbing.
You didn't know you wanted it, Stuart.
No,
you did. Maybe.
And there's a whole inconsistency with the girl from the Vote Up Down Planet. I forget its name, but her jeans. In some scenes, she's got one ripped knee. Next scene, the jeans are fine. Another scene, she's got two ripped knees. It's like the pant. It was just, you could see the way it was filmed. It was filmed out of order, and they didn't pay attention to that. It's a small little thing, but pay attention to the knees on her jeans. Because when they go to the simulator, and then later they're fine, and then when she's sitting on the couch talking to Kelly, they're both ripped. It's like, oh my God, seriously, guys, make up your mind. But there wasn't enough to take me out of it. I loved that nothing happened. I loved that it was a day in the life of, because a lot of times I'll enjoy a movie for the first half hour where you're establishing things and you see people's daily routines and and I get pulled out of it a bit when there's the big bad thing that happens and then boom, crescendo, right? It's like, I don't really need that all the time. I would like to just see
Trek shorts where less happens sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess for a lot of people it was an underwhelming finale, but it was a perfect send-off. That last shot of the ship, gorgeous. Happy ending. You know, Claire and Isaac are now married. The humor of the groom's side being all Kalon and standing, clapping, and turning their heads in unison, brilliant.
And they are too drunk to drive home. So
drive home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun episode. I was thoroughly satisfied with it. I wouldn't call it my favorite of the season, but it was up in the top 5 probably. Yeah.
I think I'll probably agree with this. I was thoroughly whelmed, enjoyably thoroughly whelmed.
Yes.
Like they didn't. The visuals on the oh no, city might kill themselves was really, really impressive. That was what overwhelmed me. Like the way they showed, the creatures in the underneath the ice. Like those visuals were just really, really gorgeous.
Yes.
So that was the thing that got you. But everything else was played so gentle and low key, really gentle, really low key. It was more funny. There was better jokes, I thought, because I knew we got a lot more time. It's not filler, but we can have more fun because we're doing a lot less, which I liked.
Yeah.
Ed is funny, Ortis is funny, or lack of funny is funny. And at the end, I did laugh out loud at, well, I never thought this was gonna laugh because Isaac just killed us all. But no, seriously, and the Doctor is this. But seriously, there's no joke. It's just making a horrible comment. No, but seriously, it's like this.
Well,
you missed the point of the joke.
That's the other thing. When Gordon did his speech and he's like, and if it doesn't work out, Isaac is recyclable. I expected that to set off the Kalons like, excuse me, what? Because even the moment where he's like, I'm marrying
Isaac,
her, what's
was
marriage?
that a threat? No, Kalon Prime. That was called humour. It was not funny. I know. And everyone's like, Kalon, they're so funny. The genocidal guys that killed half our fleet. So funny. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I expected maybe some misunderstanding there. I love the description of marriage. Are they trying to enslave you like our masters did? It's like, oh shit, don't say that. Because I thought that might turn at some point as well.
Yep. That was fun.
And also, another thing I expected that we didn't get in this episode was when Lamar gave him that stupid fucking advice of, hey, this is the first girl you've ever been with. Maybe you should be with some more. Yes, he asks Kelly, and then he goes to ask Tala, or he messages Tala, and Kelly's like, don't do that. I expected there to be a problem with that. I expected him to actually go out on a date with somebody and have Claire see it and have a. I'm glad that didn't play out, but I really love the way that Claire just puts Lamar in his spot. Look, I have an impressionable boyfriend. If you ever give him advice again, even if what kind of cologne to wear, I will come down here and beat your ass. And everybody's like looking, and he's like, "What are y'all looking at?" I thought that was fantastic.
My only issue with that is that it's so out of order. She should get punished for it. 'Cause you don't do that to head of engineering and be okay with it. I needed her to get punished for that. It's so inappropriate, so not okay. You don't demean him like that. That's really, really bad thing to do. You take him into the office and yell at him fine.
Yeah.
She should have got, a thing on the record for that.
Yeah, well, I thought it was hilarious.
It's funny, it's just really inappropriate, and she should know better.
Yeah.
Kind of feel like at some point he should repay her and, go into her office and fill her people and yell at her.
Yeah.
And, make her feel like a small, insignificant little child. Pay her back for that.
Yeah, he was kind of an idiot, but anyway.
Yeah, which is funny because he's with the lady, so it kind of felt. But I also thought I was waiting for the retort of find another woman. It's like you will find another woman after Claire dies, like you will have your second girlfriend in 80 years.
Yeah, that whole discussion too of after I die, he's going to look after my kids, their kids, my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he'll dedicate himself to it. Good discussion.
Yeah, that's a very unique possibility. Although obviously, if he's on a ship with the Union, he can't go back to Earth quickly and make sure they're okay. It's a bit of a redundancy. Like it was not. I thought played as I will literally stay by their side, or is then he's then a pet. At that point,
Yeah.
He's not. He's an officer. He's got his own life. He'll look after them and he'll check on them every now and then. He won't literally be by their side. That was not what she meant, etc. What he meant.
And even the discussion that she had with the kids, So Isaac asked you to marry him. Like, how did
Damn
you
it!
know?
Yeah.
You don't get the thing about a small ship yet, do you, Mom?
And I was shocked because that was meant to be there. We filmed this after. They look no different to the start of the season. Like the 2-year gap, I was expecting the kid to look not like a kid, but he looked like he's the one that should have changed. I was like, oh, did he age them? What? I don't think it did. That would be odd. I was like, where was the big
jump
in age?
I also love that the oldest one walked her down the aisle. I thought that was a nice touch. And the youngest one was the ring bearer. That's nice. It's nice. It was a nice ceremony.
But yeah, I like episode 2. I thought it was, like I said, wonderfully whelmed. Isaac. I mean, that is the real story of Orville, is Isaac and Claire. That's really the idea of this non-emotional race of ex-slaves that can it's the ultimate data allegory taken to the extreme, but also taken to the romantic extreme. That's amazing. That's sci-fi at its best. That's hell, and you really believe Claire in all of her scenes with him. She does a very, very good job in selling that, which is a hell of an achievement. Because a sexless, emotionless marriage where you have to tell him off for doing silly things every day, most people couldn't deal with that, and it's remarkable the way she plays it because that's a lot to accept. A 100% sexless marriage, etc.
Yeah. Well, at the Orville panel at Comic-Con, somebody asked her, out of all the relationships you've been in sci-fi, because she's been in a few things, who is your favorite? And Isaac's like 2 down from her, and he's like, keep in mind that I'm here.
Yeah.
And she's like, that'd be Cisco. Or I don't know, what she actually said was, he was formerly known as Hawk, which I loved.
Yeah.
It's so touch. So.
Well, she got to kiss Avery. Didn't get to kiss Mark too much. But it was odd. It was odd to have the hard sideline to would you like to sleep with me, to go on a date with me. Commander Kelly was funny, and I liked that, and I was daft, but I
loved her reaction to it. It was just perfectly played.
Yep, perfectly written. But I was kind of expecting him then to say, when she says yes, I'll marry you, him to say, I'm sorry, Doctor, I've been informed that one should date...
Yes.
Like, the fact that he'd...
I expected that, too.
Yeah. I thought that was like, oh, no, we're not going to have a twisty episode. We're going to have a much more straight-line episode. Which was fine with. Just that I thought was going to be interesting. Like, he would then experience all the romances that would go wrong, and he'd kind of have the interesting juxtaposition.
Well,
Yeah.
It would have been ironic because he would have asked her. She didn't give an answer. She had to think about it. Comes back and says yes, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
What? It would have been devastating for her. It would have made some. Yeah, and that's another thing I expected to happen when she came in and said yes to him. But
or like
and the return of the sandwich.
Yes.
Perfectly timed, and I'm glad they didn't forget about it. Made Gordon feel better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and having Gordon's speech thing was fun. Borta's takeover was inappropriately, wonderfully inappropriate, and just him. I mean, it's all he got to do the episode, but it's fun. It's very like it's more season 1. I liked that, and his speech was great at the end. It was very heartfelt, very nice. Yeah, and the uniforms were good. The wedding was good. The set was good. The Kalon jokes were great. I loved seeing the Kalon mingling, yeah, which makes no sense, but also wonderful sense. I really can't.
They're learning about the Union and humans. I love that. Sure. I love that the marriage was broadcast to all the ships.
Yeah, yeah. Like the way Isaac genuinely apologized. We didn't plan. Like okay, so we can't fit all 5,000 people into our thing. So sorry, Mr. Prime. We can't fit all. Understandable, but we'll send it to you via call. Okay. And just to see the insane amount of ships, like that is flexing the old CG muscles that we can throw in that many polygons, because holy hell, that is a thing to render.
And they're not even far away. There's not even a wall of ships. You get the shot with the music's playing, and you see like the Orville, and it's just surrounded by Kalon ships that are like, right up in its grill.
I really would like to have had a scene though where Earth gets alerted. Sir, the biggest Kalon armada ever discovered, 5 times bigger than our biggest fleet, is now on the edge of our space. Oh no! Oh no! Signal from Ed. What does he say? They're wedding guests. Worry. Yeah, not to worry. Okay.
Well, I love that he put that line in. Would somebody please message the Union so that this gets picked up on sensors? Nobody's going to freak out.
Yeah. I just wish we'd seen the other side of that. Would have been really funny. And yeah, I really think they could have had a bit more of jokes with all the Kalon talking to the guests at the last scene. So, how do you know Isaac? I am one of, like they could have been fun jokes and but that's fine. The way they played it was kind of cool. Or like Kalon and Prime Alpha, like saying, I research weddings. Here is my gift to you, and it's like a thermonuclear bomb. It's like I hear, because it's very valuable in the Union. Here's a big bomb, and it's like. Okay, or like something, you know what I mean? Like it's because he's the father of the groom. You could argue.
Here is some Tupperware.
Oh yeah, or shitty. Or here is a toaster. It's like, thank you, Kalon Prime. I hear it's the most most perfect gift on averages, like that.
Not only that, but it is also security for your house. It's a button and the guns fold out like in their heads. So it's a toaster and a gun. Perfect. Thank you.
It's our new invention, toaster gun. Yeah, no, 100% that. But yeah, it's a lovely end. You don't know where it's going. Like, is it gonna be another twist? Is it gonna be a cliffhanger? Is it gonna be anything at the end? But it stops so gently and so peacefully that it's nice, and it's a fine franchise ending. It leaves a lot of unsatisfied non-endings of other stories, but given this really is the main story of Orville, it's the one you should sort of close out, and just fully pay off.
And the Ed and Kelly holding hands at the end is a nice touch.
Yeah, but it would have been nice if they hadn't already had the Bortas thing. Like, don't confuse us 2 episodes earlier. It doesn't... Like, those 0 scenes of her flirting with Ed. Like, I want them together. I thought that'd be quite nice, but we never...
Well, there was the scene where he said he was keeping a log for his kid. She might want to read it one day, learn what her dad was all about. And she looks at him and goes, you surprised me. And there's kind of that little bit in that.
But that's just like, we're friends with admiration. Like, I know what you mean, but it still wasn't quite... But I don't think they wanted to commit fully, just because...
And Alara showed up. Thank you, Lisa Jericho.
Yes.
Alara did make a return. Although I found it funny, there was no scenes with her talking to Ed, considering they were both in a relationship, the actors, earlier. No scenes of them together, really. Ed standing behind her in one scene, but...
Yeah, that was...
And finding out what she's up to, that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was nice and gentle. Yeah, I mean, she didn't do much. She was there for like 20, 30 minutes to shoot. Realizing it was the first scene she was there with the actual replacement version of her. Because in the last season, they did appear together, but it was the alternate universe them, so it didn't count.
Yes.
So I wish we had a little bit more of them. But at least it was like hey, it was all good. And she looked good. I hope she's in it more. I like Alara
Now,
more in general, although she was more standoffish, but that's fine.
now, what do you think of my idea if they renew for season 4 and if they start off with this wedding and then getting an alert that Kalon is under attack from the Mochlin and the Krill? I think that'd be a fantastic way to start off season 4. Not that I want that to happen because I don't really want the conflict, but at the same time, it's a perfect way to start off a season.
Yeah, no, I think that would be bold, but also that's like the biggest thread. Because I don't think that, Chancellor Ed's baby mama would think, okay, I've just got power, the Kalon can turn at any moment, best destroy them while we can. She's not going to accept the peace treaty. I don't see that happening. So yeah, I could see that. I was kind of surprised that there wasn't this brilliant reveal at the end, right at the end, where Isaac is smiling because he's got his emotions, that like he's working on it for the last 6 months and now they found a permanent solution. Or now with Kalon Alpha there, that he can get patched. Like I was expecting maybe the wedding present to be your emotion overhaul, like something. But I mean, that can be later on. Like so, they could even be in in the after, when they joke about presents, they give a toaster and a chip, and the toaster is the real gift, the chip is if you want it. It's like one's a toaster with the guns, the other's a full emotional usage, and he's like, Claire's like, I'll take the chip. Are you sure? The toaster is more traditional. I'm sure.
Yes.
Actually, being kind of funny. Yeah.
That would have been good. Yeah. Lots of potential for season 4. Like they left a lot of threads where they can.
They
pick
closed
up
lots, and they left, and they opened. They sort of reset the universe. But I was really hoping to see, well, first of all, the monkey style aliens that the Krill were scared of from season 2. They're being set up as being a big threat, forgotten, and then the creation aliens from the void, also a big thing. So I'm hoping, because the Kalons are more interesting, I think, as a peaceful thing, because they're so OP. Like they're choosing not to murder everybody. Like that every day they don't kill everybody is a choice, basically. So I kind of hope. Yeah, those other aliens I think would be more interesting as a foil.
Guys, we're at 71 likes.
Oh, okay.
Let's try to get to 80. Let's get another 9 likes.
Hundreds, Jim.
And we're
flat
still
100. Come on. I want to say 100.
Oh, that's a bit much to ask for 60 people here. I'm asking for 9 more likes, guys.
Like
Sam
Spike.
was asking to get us to 100. Another 29 likes. But we're also $50 away from our minimum, which is disappointing. Usually these Orville ones, you guys really come through. This one, not so much.
And this is 6 episodes worth of stuff. You'd think people would come in and chat. But, I mean, Orville's not as popular as it... Orville isn't that popular. People who like it, but it's not, tremendously popular. So,
yeah. Which we need to get season 4.
We
really do. I've really enjoyed the Orville. So
yeah, I mean, I've come to, it's not the show I want, but I like it. I prefer what they were giving us originally. It's just a different Star Trek rather than its own thing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not really its own show. It's a hybrid show.
And Raj says, I hope we get to see Alara in season 4. Well, if they use my idea, she's on board. She's already on board at the beginning. So it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I want to see a whole episode of the two people team up, the two versions of the character, the two whatever the race is called. I think that would be very, very good. Yeah. Personally.
And yeah, we got the untapped threads that they can go into, the aliens from the void, Ed's daughter, Kalon right now being unguarded essentially. A few people left back there, but what else? The monkeys, like you said, that monkey race would be great. Yeah, lots of great stuff that could possibly happen. So we need another season.
So yeah, what is your favorite episode, guys? Tell us your favorite moments, episodes, whatever. Vote in the poll, and we'll close out in a minute. Yeah.
I'm just looking to see what my favorite episode of this season would be. Maybe Twice in a Lifetime, just because it was such a great story.
Which one's that?
The one where Gordon goes back in time. Yeah, I think Twice in a Lifetime was the one that was the most dramatic, anyway, and morally ambiguous as far as what they should do. But yet, it's not. It's a simple answer, and they did that, and I love that.
Well, they make you genuinely feel for the relationship.
Yeah.
Which is important and well done.
Yeah. What would be your favorite?
Oh, yeah, Origin of the Kalon. I think that's just the best. No element in that episode lets it down.
From Unknown Graves.
Yeah, that one I think just rocks on every level. I think I probably would say the WND is the second episode, which is currently winning on poll. I think that also is very strong. It's got a lot of good political stuff. Weapons very impressive. And the balls on them to go to all these locations, do all these things, and that is a very close to a movie in terms of scope, scale, and payoff. I think those two are strong. The Time Travel one are probably my third, but like I say, it missed a lot of opportunities. But the story's so good, but it didn't reach its potential for me. Like the earlier ones.
Electric Sheep. That's where.
Oh, Suicide one. That's probably quite high because it's just a really strong. If you ignore the fact that no one else is in the episode except Isaac and Claire,
yeah,
then it's really good. Episode 2 is the
Shadow Realms. That's what the void creatures.
Which we liked the first half, but then it fell down because the ship is suddenly deserted despite having like a 300 people crew. And where's the security and who died and why do we not care? That shit the bed at the end hard.
Yeah.
Episode 3 was
the morality paradox. That's what the people that aged or travel through time faster that were in a...
Oh, that was weird. That was a good end, weird beginning, good middle. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That wasn't. That didn't come together.
It kind of felt like an episode of like or something.
Yeah, that didn't come together.
Yeah.
And obviously 4 was.
4 was Gently Falling Rain. That's one with the Kalon and the Krill. They go to the Krill planet.
Oh, that's medium. You don't like it? That's medium.
We got 2 super chats I haven't read yet. Sebastian, €2. Elvis Forever. Thank you very much. I love Clyden's reaction to anything Bordas does. Oh, he's so good. He's so excellent.
Yeah, he was
overcompensating much.
Yeah, I think he's happy to be back.
Ray Ricks, £5. Thank you so much. Good explanation for Prime Directive. They borrowed the explanation the Tolan used in Stargate or SG-1.
Yes.
If this is the series end, it's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, it's a perfectly good, one.
Yeah. I'd be down for obviously more seasons, but even an Orville movie would be perfect. You know. So. All right. Well, 2 likes away from the 80 that I asked for. We're not anywhere near the 100 Samuel asked for.
I tried.
You guys. I dare you let him down.
Yes.
I have to listen to him complain about that now. When we go off the air, he's going to complain that he didn't get 100 likes. God damn, you're letting me down, guys.
And we've got a live on Thursday on a topic.
Yes.
Friday and Thursday, Stuart is away.
Friday and Wednesday, I'm away, yes.
That's what I meant. In my brain, I said that.
That's not what you said with your mouth.
No. Oh, and of course, if you're interested, I released my latest Star Trek fan film on Saturday, which I haven't been yet live to talk about directly, called The Icarus Incident. It's already reached 5,400 views since Saturday, which is rather good for a fan film. As I said to people, my aim is to get 10,000 views, and then it's already in the top middle of all fan films, views-wise. I'm already halfway there, so thank you all for watching it. We're at 304 likes and 73 comments. I would love to have everyone go on that and comment, watch it. So you think it's only 8 minutes, but I'm very proud of it. I think it's something you've never seen before. Like the Nebula class, you are going to see the Nebula class, and it's a good model. So put the link in the chat. Go watch it. Comment. It helps the algorithm. I'd like to see 10,000 views, as I said. The next one is the next one is an introduction of the Emma character, who plays Laura Reed. Well, after that is a Generations doc, which will be that'd be fun. Lots of good stuff in that one.
Yeah, can't wait to see those.
It's all very different.
Cool. Well, we hit our 80. Yay! 82. I am satisfied. Samuel is yet not.
It's true. But the poll results, which are favourite episode, 46% the Kalon WND, episode 9, 30% the Time Travel episode, 13% the Isaac Wedding, last episode, and 11% the Origin of the Kalon, the one I like most. So there you go.
Okay, cool. Cool. We'll end that poll. And I guess that's it for today, guys. So thank you for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, please leave a super thanks. It would be very greatly appreciated. And yeah, join us on Thursday again, and we'll be back for another live of some sort, some kind, some discussion. But until then, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
And we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.